Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, Nile Scala, with another exciting adventure here in Crowdfunding Comics. Billy Tucci, my man, how are we doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good. Whose is that?
That's
What's making
probably
that
you,
sound?
bro. That's probably
No,
you.
it's not. I'm on mute. I just started now. See? I'm on mute.
You sure, bro? You sure? You
Yep.
said that last time.
I'll quit out. Look. I am quit out, bro.
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
It is not me, man. And I was on mute. See?
You're on mute.
I'm off. I just quit out of Safari.
I don't know, bro. This is becoming a theme. This is becoming a freaking theme.
Well, remember last time it wasn't me. It was Meredith, right?
That was true, yeah. If anyone's got a Mac or anything, just make sure you've got anything on turned down. Just so we don't get any feedback. And we're not getting any feedback now. So, Billy, my friend, how are we doing, brother?
I'm getting what's your call from you, bro?
I don't know, man. I'm thinking it's you, Billy Tucci.
All right, I'm gonna. It's not me. Something's going on. I'm forced quitting everything.
So we have a great show tonight, Billy. A great show with two great creators.
Yes, we do.
With two amazing and very different books.
Yes.
And I have to say, dude, I'm pretty excited. And you know me, like I wasn't always a huge fan of like anime style stuff, but that stuff is really starting to grow on me.
You've become a big fan of that. In the course of the show, I remember from our earliest shows, and we would when guests would approach us, or we were talking about guests when we started, like, yeah, I don't like that manga style anime. You know, I want more artsy type stuff. And now you're buying like all these anime inspired and manga inspired Kickstarters.
Yeah, I am. I'm
Yeah,
actually starting to dig all this stuff, and there's so many great styles, and they're so different, and I'm loving it. And then, even with the traditional stuff that's coming on, and I mean, dude, we've got some great stuff tonight, man. You know?
We do. Yep, and again, we have our guests, and as you see, which has been our pattern now, is to go with, doubling up our guests, which makes it a lot of fun, because then we have a four-way conversation, which is a lot of fun, just because if we didn't do that, and thank you to our fans that we now have for almost, 2,000 subscribers, and we're getting so many guests on the show that, we're by doubling it up, we can get more guests on. So
yeah, and I think it's more fun that way, because you get kind of two creators talking different styles, plus us, brings in a great conversation. But, let's get into it, man. So greeting crowdfunding centurions and crusaders all over the world. After stuffing our gullets with all that Thanksgiving has to offer, we have made room for two of our guests tonight. The first guest travels out of the swamps of Nola with a still beating heart of his recent kill. Our other guest returned from her guest lecture series at magical universities across the globe. So everyone, please welcome Raven Monroe and Anthony Figaro to the show. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Hey, guys.
Happy to be here.
What is up, guys?
Happy to have you both.
Yes.
So first and foremost, did you guys have a great holiday? Was it a good holiday weekend?
Very good. Lots of food. So much pie.
Same here.
Gotta eat the pie.
And Anthony, thank you for coming on. You're a little under the weather, huh, bro?
Yeah, I ate so much I got sick.
No.
Oh man, that's brutal, dude. You ever get so full? Like this year, I actually ate so much that I was just uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable. I couldn't even sit,
anytime I eat, I feel that way.
Oh man! But I will do it every year, and I'm looking forward to Christmas. So now it's like 2 days in a row where you're just gonna stuff your face. Christmas Eve. I'm Italian, so Christmas Eve is big.
Exactly.
And then Christmas Day. I mean, oh man, I'm gonna be getting that prime rib going.
Yeah, we got our bro Figaro here. So Anthony, it is Figaro, right?
Correct, just like the Bugs Bunny opera song.
It's like the song. All right, just like all right. And so Raven, you're from Arkansas originally, and then I want everyone to know that Raven served our country in the United States Marine Corps. So Semper Fi to you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Now, are you a fan of MREs?
Sir, we were just talking about Thanksgiving. Don't bring up that topic.
Yes, I love. Well, some of them were great. Some memories were great. And like
Chili Mac.
Chili Mac is the only one I will ever accept.
Chili Mac.
What do you mean? The beef stew was great.
The beef stew's pretty good too.
And the turkey gravy was great with the, that was good too.
All right, you're bringing up some bangers. You got a point there.
And the chicken chunks. Everyone loves chicken chunks.
It's such a vile name. Chicken chunks.
It does sound good.
Oh, it's delicious.
Like I
like
said, I was
cat
in
food
infantry,
chunks.
so anything tasted good. We learned that if you put sugar on white bread, it actually tastes like cake. Or you fool yourself into thinking, oh, wow, this tastes just like the best cake I ever had. Just put sugar on like Wonder Bread. That's the infantry for you. If we were lucky, we got anything.
Nasty.
So, well, thank you for your service, Raven. And it's an honor to have you on our show. And, of course, Figaro, Anthony's one of it. He's like part of the family now. He's been a huge crowdfunding comic supporter. And thank you, buddy, for that. We really appreciate that, my friend.
Hey, right.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple. We did a crowdfunding call out for his book as well. Help spreading the word, and that's just how this crowdfunding indie comics community works. And I'd love to start off with when we do this show, we really love to get into everyone's kind of origin story, like how'd you come to be, how'd you get into comics. So Raven, if you don't mind, I'd like to start with you. When did you first get into comics, and how did you get started in making comics?
Oh gosh. Okay, so my first comic I got probably when I was like 6 years old. My aunt signed me up for the Powerpuff Girls, like as a comic.
Mm-hmm.
So I would get like a monthly subscription from that, and I would lose my mind every time. Like it was so cool having like a physical book of my favorite characters. So I loved that. And then I grew up watching anime and reading manga all the time. And then I ended up moving out to California, where I met my buddy Brian Ball, and he's a creator of Rags, and he talked to me about like creating a comic and everything that goes into it, and it became more and more realistic the more that I talked to him. I understood how to go about making it. So I went from like, oh, what a dream it would be to make one, to okay, well, we're gonna buckle down and we're gonna do it. So
nice.
that's my
That's
story.
pretty ballsy.
Nice. Now, did you grow up reading comics though? Like what age did you actually start getting into it?
So I didn't really start diving into comics very strongly until like last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was mainly like heavy into anime and manga up until then, but then I started doing like a lot of research into comics and just kind of fell in love with it. So here I am.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Now, Anthony, what's your origin story, my friend?
My origin story, as we were about 10 years old, I guess, we would go down to the local little Circle K, and we would steal comic books, and then we would bring them home, and then we would trace them and stuff. Like I came in, my first comic book ever was Bob Layton was on the Iron Wars with Iron Man, and that was the first comic book I ever had, and then I was into it from then, and drawing and stuff, and this is back when I think Batman was just coming out, and I would record these specials on a TV because I didn't know where the local comic book shop was when I was like 10, 12 years old, and then I would record them, and then I would pause it, and I would draw from the TV because they would have these pictures of these comic books on here. I'd never seen them before, and so I would just do that, and then me and my friends, we just kept doing that, and over the years, I guess, I read books, and then I want to say it was about 2003 when I made my first convention. I went to Chicago back when Wizard was Wizard, and Marvel was there, and DC was there. Billy was probably there, and it was really nice setup. And then I want to say 2004, I hooked up with a guy in I think it was Ape Entertainment. His name was Brent Irwin. It was a small label, and I hooked up with him, and we did an omnibus for him, and then me and another friend did a book called Justice City Chronicles back in 2005, and then I had Katrina happen, and that kind of derailed me for about a decade, and now I'm trying to come back.
Awesome,
you seem
dude.
like you are, bro. You're doing it.
Now, you doing the drawing yourself, or are you doing the writing?
Both.
You're doing both
on this book.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Very good, very good. And now, who's inspired you? Like, is there actually anyone in the field, in the industry that's inspired your style or how you do things?
You going with Raven first or me?
I'm continuing with you, and then I'm gonna go to Raven.
Okay. I mean, I was inspired by all the people at the time when I came in, which was, of course, Leighton. Todd McFarlane was on The Incredible Hulk. Jim Lee was on Punisher War Journal. Silvestri was on X-Men Fall of the Mutants. Those are the guys I think who had the most influence on me. That's who I grew up, copying, mimicking, learning from, were those guys.
Yeah. All right, very cool. Raven, is now you really started getting into this heavy about a year ago, you said. Is there anyone that you've been following in the industry that's kind of inspiring your journey?
Oh gosh. There's one artist who created this little comic called Danny and Robin. It's by Jake. His last name escapes me at the moment, but he created Danny and Robin, and his work is like kind of like adventure timey, but also kind of comic-y. Like it's absolutely goals. I love his artwork and his storytelling. It's really cute. So I've been following him. Lord, his last name is escaping me at this moment. But yeah, so I love his work. He's great. And then of course Rags. I love the storytelling and the art in that as well. So those are like big influence, polar opposite, but big influences.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
Well, it's always it's always the best to get to use all sorts of influences, because that only helps you grow. You can't just like one thing. There's some, I just like John Byrne. Well, then your style is going to be just like John Byrne, say. So you have to totally expand yourself, and it's good that you do that, obviously. And who wants to just read the same thing?
Yeah, exactly. Diversity. Now let me ask you, how did you get in? Tell us about Wicked Publishing and how you got involved with them.
Right. So Wicked, they're great. So I first became aware of them back when Mythoverse was doing their crowdfunding last year, their Kickstarter for the Mythoverse series of 3 different comics. And I backed that, and I started following them on Twitter. And, I do artwork, I do commissions, I do things like that. And Wicked reached out to me and they were like, hey, how would you feel about coloring some pages for us? And I was like, I would love to. And working with them, they were just so thoughtful and such great people to work with on that small project. So we just kind of stayed in touch. And then when I went and I did Machi on Kickstarter, they reached out to me, and they had me on a stream, and we were talking about publishers, and I was letting them know, I'm trying to get the numbers from the Kickstarter to help support my case when I go to a publisher, and I say, hey, here's why you might want to have me on. Here are my numbers. And they messaged me like a couple of days later, and they were like, hey, we know you want to wait till your Kickstarter's over, but how would you feel about coming on board with us? And I was like, it'd be like coming home. I'd love it. That'd be great. So I joined up with them.
Oh, very nice.
Now, how did you get into coloring a comic? How did you start? So you got into comics that you wanted to start coloring them first? Is that what you start off as a colorist?
So I started off as like a character designer and like a character artist, but I ended up getting picked up for like small jobs on the side. Like I did some commissions for Rags. I did some smaller stuff for Mythoverse as well. And then Wicked hit me up for coloring. So I'm kind of like I have quite the menu of options available when it comes to artistic skills, and people just come and they take their pick.
Sure.
Oh, very cool. That's nice.
That's great.
Very cool. And Anthony, I got a little interesting one. A question here from our good producer, Frank Amazing. You're a Southern guy from Louisiana. What are some assumptions us Northerners make about New Orleans?
Shit, I don't know. That New Orleans is like the South, I guess. New Orleans is its own little country. I don't know. It's different. Like if you go to any place in the South, it's totally different than New Orleans. New Orleans is it is. It's to me, New Orleans is one of the first melting pots within the melting pot.
Yeah.
I mean, you got so many cultures mixed together down here. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like it's its own laid back, easygoing kind of. It's like a laid back version of Vegas. You know what I mean? You just come here and you have a good time. There's a lot of good food, a lot of good entertainment. Hopefully you don't get shot, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, you guys totally have the best food and the best accents in the whole country. And
somebody told me the other day, because I catch this a lot when you're from New Orleans, especially if you're what they call yatty. You get yats, and it can get a little deep. But like if you go real deep, you can talk kind of like this, and when you get real yatty, you talk like that. You drag a lot of your A's out like that. But we always get accused of being from Jersey, from New York. And a guy once told me, he said, well, that's because all the nuns from New York came down to Louisiana, New Orleans, and ran the schools and stuff down here. And so it altered the way we talk down here.
That probably makes a lot of sense.
That
You know, my
does make a lot of
grandfather.
sense.
No, it does.
It does.
And then maybe some of them end up staying in New Orleans because they couldn't go back to the convent the way the Big Easy is down there.
Wow.
So, you know, my grandfather was actually born in. My grandfather was parents immigrated from Italy, and he moved there. He was actually born. He was born in New Orleans, and then he ended up having to move back to Sicily. Some kind of family thing or something, and then grew up under Mussolini, believe it or not, you know, during the war, and he was able to escape in like, I don't know, like 35 or something. He was able to come back to America because he was a U.S. citizen. But we still have family down there. I'd love to track them down because a lot of
it's weird. A lot of family came over here and did that, man. They come straight from Ellis and they come straight down here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hell of a
So
I had a blast in New Orleans. I can't wait to go back.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember a lot of it.
Yo.
I don't remember a lot of it, but it was a lot of fun. What I do remember.
Raven, have you ever been to New Orleans?
No, but I'd certainly love to stop by. It sounds like
know.
I do.
It's hard to believe with that name, Raven Monroe. I'm like, you got to be from New Orleans with that kind of name like that.
If only. That'd be a cool origin story, but
I like how he says your last name, Anthony. We're just gonna be talking about your accent the whole time, you know. Raven Monroe, right? Is that how you say it, Anthony?
Monroe, huh?
Monroe.
Is that not right?
Yeah, it's right. It's right. Don't worry. It's you know, having your cold or whatever you're with too. You know, it's enhancing it. You know, it's bringing a different vibe.
He makes him way more cooler than us, Nile. You and
way
I.
Way cooler. I know we're like, hey everyone, how you doing? He's all like, and then we started working on this book, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the cold.
And it was amazing.
Some gravity to it, you know.
But so anyway, all right, I'll get back on track. So Anthony, you did some work for Upper Deck as well, right?
Yeah, I've done some work for Upper Deck and for Tops.
Nice. So how do artists go about doing that type of work?
What you would do is my suggestion would be what I did was with Tops, somebody had turned me on to somebody, but with Upper Deck, Tops is traditionally the Star Wars stuff. Mm-hmm. But Upper Deck handles all the Marvel stuff, which is more my thing. So what I did was I just made sample cards. And then I just tracked down whoever had an Upper Deck account, Upper Deck Entertainment, anything like that, and I would just send them the samples over and over and over again until they finally sent me a request and said, "Hey, would you like to work on a set for us?"
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. Did you work for Jeff Zapata over there at all?
At Upper Deck?
Yeah, I think he's at Upper Deck or he's at Tops. Jeff Zapata?
Not Jeff. There was a guy named Zach. We worked for with Upper Deck, and then there was a girl Jessica we worked for at Tops, but she's switched out with a girl named Chelsea now.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. And now this question here, this is for Raven. I want to assess. So, I know you were telling us that you know, joining the Marines brought you out to California.
Mm-hmm.
But did you stay in California to also kind of pursue the dream of what you're doing right now?
Yes, that's the main reason I stayed, was I wanted to pursue art and comic creation and that kind of lifestyle here. You definitely can't do that back in Arkansas. There's no way. So yeah, when I came out here, I met quite a few people who had connections in LA to some different like comic producing companies. And I kind of hung out with them and got to know a little bit about the industry. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to stay. So I just set down my roots here.
Nice.
Very nice. Do you go to San Diego?
Yeah, I live in San Diego.
No, I mean to the Comic-Con. Have you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's awesome.
It's wild. I was only able to get into San Diego Comic-Con this year through Bandai. I did a little bit of work for them and helped out with their Dragon Ball Z booth. So I got to get in through that, and I was very fortunate for that. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, it's a lot of work too, though. I'll tell you that.
Now, have either of you two actually done conventions for your books and your stuff?
It's a goal. It's an absolute goal. Planning on it.
Yeah, for me too. I mean, this is once this gets, yeah. I mean, I've made the conventions with the prints and things like that, and sold original artwork. But after this book comes out, it'll be the first time making a transition into selling my own IPs.
Yeah. Now
That's it, bro.
That is.
I know it's scary, but it's there's no other way to do it. I mean, at some point you have to make the decision. It's like, do I want to continue doing this, or do I want to throw my hat in the ring? And it's just, it's like, yeah, I want to throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah. Well, where would Robert? Think about Robert Kirkman. Think about own it all. That's it. You could work for Marvel, you could work for DC, and I guess that's considered the brass ring. But you'll never make as much money working for them unless you are like David Finch or someone, or Tom King, or Scott Murphy.
It's changing, Billy. And I mean, and Nile asked earlier about people who inspired us, and without getting too mushy or anything like that, you definitely was an inspiration for that, because there was this idea of, like you saying, it's changing, and the whole atmosphere is changing. And it's like, for the first time in my life this past year, I thought to myself, I don't even know if I want to work for Marvel and DC anymore. It was a dream of mine for my whole life, but it's changing to this point now to where it's like I can go direct to the consumer now.
That's right.
And I can put it straight out there. And watching guys like you and watching these guys come up and do it, and I love No Fan Left Behind. I love that. It's a business. I'm here to make money. I'm here to create a good product and put it out there. And now that we have technology and we have all these things at our disposal, which allows people like me, Raven, and you to say, okay, well, let me go straight to my consumer and say, here, this is what I have. Let the market decide now. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the way to do it, And again, you got to think of it a bit as a business. Go to as many platforms as you can. This is my philosophy. Try to reach the greatest audience as possible, and that was actually No Fan Left Behind is all Nile's. That was his idea.
Oh,
I totally stole it. But we can all we can all use it and make and make a movement out of it. No Fan Left Behind.
Exactly.
I agree.
Heck yeah.
It's open source. Take it, people. Do it. Use it.
That's it.
You can't put your eggs. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. You really can't. A lot of people are trying to fight the good fight and do this and that, but unfortunately, if you want to make money and you want to get out there, I mean, you gotta really hustle. You may not want to sell in that corner, but you got customers on that corner, so you might as well spend a couple hours, and make what you can, especially if you want to make this a living. If this is what you do full time. And, since we're kind of talking a little business here, I do want to ask you guys how important, because, a lot of us independent creators and what we're doing, I mean, a lot of guys and girls are starting streams. They're really hitting Twitter hard. They're still hitting Facebook hard. They're on Instagram. I mean, how important is social media right now? Raven, what's your take on that?
Gosh. It's crazy. I can count on my hand how many people I know personally, not through the internet, who might be interested in what I'm doing or might care, but I have a book of people who care on the internet, or who could potentially care. Like there's just such a huge base of people that you have an opportunity to reach and to help and to share your love with, share the love of your work with. It's crazy. Like it's like a whole spider web has opened up, and like you're in the center of it now, versus when you're just a spider just walking around doing your own thing. You don't have that network. But it's so great to be able to go on streams with guys like you and have a little bit of a platform to stand on and say, like, hey, I hear that you like comics. I'm making comics. Let's like them together, stuff like that. So it's crucial. It's critical.
And I think because of that social media, that there is no better time to create an independent comic book. And to have your own IP, as Anthony was talking about. Have your own IP, man. Create your own thing. Like I said, be like Kirkman.
Exactly.
And the next Walking Dead is out there. It's being made now.
It is.
And why not be either of these two of our guests?
Exactly. And I mean, if you think about it too, this culture that's being created, we're a part of it too, Billy. We're creating a platform, right? We're creating a platform for 3 nights out of the week,
Yeah.
And again, all of us go on at the same time, right? There's probably like 4 or 5 other streams going on right now. But if you think about it, there's a complete network. You want to see the creator behind a book that you're following, that you've already funded, and you want to kind of get to know them. Boom, join a chat like this. If you want to just see what's new and what's out there, go on YouTube and then start watching the episodes in syndication. And on top of that, the hosts aren't just hosting, they're creators as well. And so it's creating this whole new, it's basically creating a whole new industry, if you ask me, like a whole new branch of the industry, like a complete immersive, we go live 3 times a week. You're open to a chat. You're open to talk. You now become part of this independent family of creators, right? So now, like you said, doing the social media, getting involved, how cool is it that the books you guys are creating, right? You've got direct to your market, direct to your consumer, but they're not just consumers. Because you're doing the social media, you're bringing them into the world that you're creating. So it's like they're becoming your friends. They're not just the people buying your stuff. They're actually, you are accessible to them. If they have a question, more than likely you're going to answer and you're going to respond. I mean, what better business practice is that? You can go to a comic book shop, right? And you can hang out there and you can know the store owner, but you're just picking up a book on a shelf. You're not going to be able to talk to those creators.
Right.
90% of the time, you're not going to be able to talk to those creators. You can go to a convention, you can wait in line, and you can have, 2 seconds of their time, but you're just another person in line, unfortunately, just because of how a convention works. They're not bad people. It's just that they have, 200 people in line waiting for something. So they can only really give you a millisecond of time. But what we're all doing right now, honestly, I think is really paving the way. And really, it's going to be something that is getting attention. Is getting attention by the mainstream, and everyone just needs to stay humble, stay their course, and keep creating awesome shit.
Yes, sir.
Word up. Microsoft
My
Word
caffeine
Store,
just kicked in, bro. My caffeine just kicked in, and Raven and Anthony are inspiring me. I like it.
Oh.
I like this.
Scala.
That's how it goes around, man.
Preach, General Scala.
General Scala is here.
The only way to keep it is to give it away, brother.
There you go.
Exactly. I mean, and Anthony, how has social media been for you?
Oh, it's like a Faustian bargain. It's it's like, I enjoy the aspects of everything you just said, but it's so time consuming, man. I mean, it really is. It's time consuming. But and it's just it's a different terrain, because like I said, coming back to it after all these years, we were laughing the other day, me and a friend of mine, because we were talking about Diamond, and back in the day it was like, that was it, man. Diamond was the only people you could go through, and now it's altered in this way where now you can use this social media to find this niche and to find these people who are interested in what you're doing. And it's just in like anything else, I just think it's consistency and persistency, man. Because I think there is a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of noise out there to sift through. But I think if you operate in good faith, I think if you continue to be consistent in creating content and product, and you remain transparent with the people you're dealing with, I think you'll rise up. I do.
Exactly. And you actually said something very important, and I don't want anyone to overlook this. Diamond. Don't overlook Diamond, because as you grow your brand, as you become and you maintain accessibility, it's still a business. If your products grow, you'll say your first campaign you're going for 1,500, and then your next campaign you did so well, you need to go to 3,000. You're going up and you're going up, you're going up. You're going to hit a point, and a lot of the heavy hitters that are doing crowdfunding do this, is they bring everything special to those fans that want to be a part of their world and what they're doing. But then they also, there's people that aren't really keen with technology and computers and still like to just go to the comic shop. Well, they hit a point where, I am going to distribute through Diamond. So,
absolutely.
That's one thing I tell people, don't ever rule that out. It's not going to be part of your plan in the beginning.
Curious. No, I agree. I'm curious about that now, because I don't know with the way that crowdfunding is now. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a good thing. I agree with you 100% what you're saying. I think it's a good thing. But with the way crowdfunding's running now, I think Diamond loses its grip. You know, you have young guys like Peter Simeti coming out. He's doing
Mhm.
Alterna, and he's, you know, hinting with the ideas of distribution and things like that. And I think with the success of Billy, of all these people out here who are coming out, you're gonna have these alternates that are gonna start popping up and chipping away at this system. Because it's unfortunate, but you do have this dying of these comic book shops because of, for whatever you
Yeah.
can, a multitude of reasons. But the more that happens, the more people, what is it? Necessity is the mother of all inventions.
Mhm.
At some point, something's going to pop up, and I do believe it will be in the crowdfunding system that will start to be able to accommodate what you're saying,
Mhm.
accommodate those fans that aren't connected to all this, but still be able to reach them. And
Yeah.
it's only good. It's competition. It's only
Mhm.
good. It can only increase. Can only make either Diamond either get out of the way or improve what they're doing.
Yeah, and well, like Alterna distribution, you know, which Peter has in development in what they're doing.
Right.
That could be your another avenue. You know, just
Correct.
unfortunately, Diamond has the reach.
They do.
Right.
Diamond has
They
the
do,
reach,
right.
and if
Right
you
now.
come to a point
Right
where
now.
right now they have the reach, and for the next quite for some time, they're probably going to have the reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, there's
so
also there are 2,000 active comic shops. There are.
there are.
And don't rule them out because that's just another store.
Mhm.
You got to look at it, and you know, it's also it's those stores where a lot of people who are looking for new IPs go to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Say if you're looking, you want to go to Hollywood, say, right? You want to get a Netflix deal or something like that. A lot of those people that are producers or people looking for those shows, where they're going to find content. Well, you know, Jimmy, go find some content. Where does Jimmy go? He goes to a comic shop.
Right.
And the cool thing is with crowdfunding is that you can get your book financed and your book completely produced, and then you can put it in through Diamond. And as I said on the a few shows ago that you can have now with crowdfunding makes our independent comics more competitive. I feel in the mainstream and in the direct market because you now have a complete book, and you could send that PDF to a comic book retailer. The comic is done. You can give a guaranteed ship date. So those retailers know that that book will be in that store on that date. And that's going to mean a lot to them because so many books are late. Because it is a lot. I don't have to tell you guys. We all know how much work it is to put together a book. But you do the lion's share, or you literally do all the work for your campaigns through your Indiegogo, through your Kickstarter. Then once it's done, you can go to your Diamond rep, or you can just call Diamond up or email them. Here's my comic. It's all done. I want to solicit it for, March 2020. What do I got to do?
Yeah.
And I think it makes our independent books, our independent comics, and our self-published books far more competitive than they would have been, say, 5 years ago.
Oh,
Right.
definitely, without a doubt, without a doubt. You know, that's why it's called Kickstarter, right?
Yep.
You know, because it's giving you that kick you
Absolutely.
need to get things moving and going. So, you know, just another option, guys. Just another option down the road as you build your brand, your publishings, your stuff. You know, since we've been talking about that, let's jump into it. You know, let's check it out. I
Yeah.
mean, Raven, you've got, you know, a great thing, you know, with your book and everything that's going on. And tell us a little bit. How did this book come to be?
So Machi, I started working on Machi the Lazy Witch back in early 2016. I just arrived to California. I was a little lost in my head and I needed a little bit of happiness. So I created this character with this pumpkin hair that made me happy. And I created a world around her based off of stories that my brothers and I loved growing up, Harry Potter, a bunch of anime, you know, K-On, slice of life shows like that. And I kind of created this little world for my character to live in. And that's how it came to be. It was just wanting to create some happiness, and that's what it is.
Very good. Now, what is this book? Is there like a certain age demographic you're going for? What kind of market are you trying to hit with this?
So I found that it's mostly children to teens who really enjoy it. Although it is for all ages, it is around 6 to 18, I would say, quite a broad range. It's a family-friendly book. It does involve college, but there's no drinking, there's no violence, there's no cussing, so it's still family-friendly.
Oh, awesome. So let's head over to your campaign, and let's see what you have going on. So you have 15 days left to go. You're on Indiegogo, 15 days left to go. You're currently looking for a goal of 1,500, and you're more than halfway there. You're currently at $994 with 17 backers. And what I'd love to do, Raven, is I'm going to play your Indiegogo video for all the viewers out there. When I play this video, you guys won't hear the audio. Our viewers will. And just mindful, your mics are still on as we play this video, so just don't say anything inappropriate. Billy.
All right.
All right, guys. So let's check this out. Machi the Lazy Witch, issue 1 and 2, Indiegogo video just for you.
Hey, I'm Machi. I'm a freshman at the Pendleton Art Institute for Gifted Witches. Though I wouldn't necessarily call myself gifted. I mean, I'm not really sure how we got accepted. But my big sister Raina is. She's really talented. Raina said that if I fail out of my first year, I'll have to start paying off my student loans straight away. And I can't really afford that. So I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to study really hard. And maybe I can make it into the Sacred Seven. They have a 100% chance of job placement after graduation. So I have 4 years until graduation, 5 hours until lunch, and my first class starts right now! Join Machi and her talented friends as they hone their skills, explore the magical world of college life, and compete in the cutthroat art industry of Pendleton AI. Between competing for a place amongst the Sacred Seven and hunting down the perfect familiar, you wouldn't want to miss out. Machi the Lazy Witch is a heartwarming story, showing that sometimes the only thing keeping you from reaching your goals is you. Spanish translation by the wonderful Stacey Rivera, editing by the amazing Cedric Harris, story and art made with love by Raven Monroe, and made possible with your support.
Very cool video,
That's
Raven.
great.
That's awesome.
Love the animation.
Did you do the animation yourself?
I did most of it. The ending animation of the bowing saying thank you, and then the running sequence, I had my brother storyboard the running and then do that final animation.
Very
Look
cool.
good.
Got Saturday morning cartoon written all over that.
Bless, yeah, he does this great Garfield style. I love it.
It's awesome.
It's fantastic. And you've got plenty of time. You'll make it for sure. We just got to
fingers
help you get it
crossed.
out there, start pushing it, start sharing it, guys. We know how tough it is, especially it's the holidays. But if you can't, if you can't pledge now, at least share it. And the cool thing is, too, is that you got in demand. Right? I mean, you'll keep it in demand, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll do this, and we've got to see this because that's adorable. I could see it perfectly for girls and young boys and all. You know what I mean? It just looks like looks all ages. Like you were saying, it's got some adventure to it and stuff. But we need more all ages stuff. You know?
We do.
We
Yeah,
do.
yeah, we do.
And that's the. Good.
Oh, no, I was just saying we do. And, it's like, our moderator, Mandy Summers, she's got her book out there. And again, she's kind of geared it towards, a younger audience. And that's what, I will say, I think the crowdfunding scene is lacking. They are lacking some books for the younger audience. But then I do understand, crowdfunding is being supported by the fan. And obviously kids aren't going to be on there with their debit cards buying things.
Yeah.
But hopefully that, parents, that are comic fans and are doing stuff may look for things for their children or young adults, So, but yeah, it's awesome. And I want to ask you a question. Did you do the voiceover work on this, or because some videos that were done, there's actually like a website and they send like the script and people audition?
So, I went through Fiverr and I found this amazing voice actress from South Korea. Her name is Shia, and she is just amazing. I love her so much. She's the best. And when I first talked to her, she was just bursting with energy and so excited. She was so stoked for the project. And I was like, I have to have you. You have the best energy in the world. And who better to voice Machi? So been working with her, and I adore her. Highly recommend. Definitely
paired up very well. So let's check out your campaign that you have going on here. So you've got some reward levels. Looks like you have some digital bundles.
Yes. Yes, and all the digital bundles come with extra goodies like a digital wallpaper or a randomized icon. So I had my brother who did the little animations do 4 different character icons from characters in issues 1 and 2, and you'll be getting one of the 4 icons at random. So it's kind of fun to see like which one are you given. I use a generator for each one.
Very cool. And you actually have a set of cards.
Yes, I have poker-sized character trading cards that come with a unique quote, their stats, and unique artwork. So originally I did this on Kickstarter, and for the Indiegogo, I've completely redone all of the cards, so they are all Indiegogo exclusive. You're not going to get them anywhere else.
Yeah, the
Oh,
art's
that's
great.
fantastic.
It's
Thank
really
you.
I
great.
love the art. I really
Yes,
do.
it
And,
is.
and like Billy's, you know, me and Billy were talking in the beginning, like, you know, I'm very open with this. I'm not a huge manga fan or the whole that style, but it's definitely all really grown on me. But I mean, obviously, I did like Dragon Ball Z. You know, I did watch
Oh,
Dragon
yeah,
Ball Z.
that's
I
a
mean,
given.
everyone likes Dragon Ball Z, but you know, the style has really opened up because what I love about it is, you know, you can see your work's influenced by it, but I can look at that and say, but that's Raven Monroe, like that's her style, you know, and I really dig what you're doing. It's awesome. So how did you come up with your rewards and you know, your levels?
Right. So I started off backing campaigns that I liked on Kickstarter to do some research. So I backed Jake Morrison's campaign, I backed a few others, and I looked at their reward tiers and I thought to myself, well, what would I actually pay money for? And that's what I took into account when making my own tiers. So I created a bunch of digital rewards that are, of course, no cost to me since I'm doing my own art, but people who want digital only, they still get some extra goodies and perks. And even at $8, you get a physical item, which is one of the trading cards. You have a chance of getting one of the 12, and even like one of the rare ones amongst the 12. There are 2 rare ones. So you have a chance of getting a rare one right off the bat if you just back for $8.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I really want to
that you're doing so much digital, because I was listening to Clint on Sweetcast today, and he had a great idea that if you have a book that's already done, he said in order to build a mailing list, and you'd be surprised of how many customers you get out of this, is that you put out there on social media, if you send me your email address, I will send you a copy of my digital comic book, a digital copy of my comic, and then people for free. So they'll get, of course, a digital copy of your book. You know what I mean? And you put out there and you get on our newsletter and stuff. But now you start to build you could potentially build a huge audience of through Instagram, through Twitter, through Facebook, which still is very viable, especially when it comes to crowdfunding. It really is.
Absolutely.
But and I'm like, wow, what a great idea! Is to to offer. I will give everyone who's, if you say DM me your your email address, and I will send you a digital copy of Machi. Okay, you know what I mean. But now you have that person, you can contact them directly through MailChimp or something like that, and you can build a now Machi is going to be say we have the next story is Machi the Lazy Witch, school's out forever. I don't know, something like that. But now you have a big audience that you can send that directly to. And I agree, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised of how much backers you would get out of that. And same thing with you,
brilliant.
Anthony. I mean, it just seems, let's use this tool as Nile was asking about social media.
Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
So
take that to the bank.
So Raven,
smart.
how can everyone stay on top of like what you're doing? Where can people follow you?
Yeah.
You can
get
find me
their
on
free
Twitter.
copies of the comic.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Raven_M_ILL or ILLU. Correct. So Ilu, like illustration, but without the illustration part because Twitter won't let it fit.
That damn Twitter.
And I'm pretty active on there. You can always reach me if you have questions or anything. I'm always available. Just shoot me a message. If you have pictures of your dog you want to show me, send me some puppy pictures. I'm always available.
Always up for a good puppy picture.
Please.
And Anthony, man, I've been feeling a hand touching me, bro, and I think it's God's hand. So if you don't mind, let's get a little bit.
Nice, Scala. Well done, bro.
To God's hand, my friend. And tell us, man, how did this book come to be? Because this is a pretty interesting concept.
It came as a challenge. I wound up a guy ran into me and he was like, "Hey, we want to do a local story on you," and he hooked me up with his contact guy, his contact Christopher Leach. He's the gentleman who provided the Morgan Freeman voice for us. And he said, "Hey, man, because you got any stories about New Orleans?" And I said, "Well, no, I don't." And he said, "Well, look, if you had to make one up, what would it be?" And I sat down and I started thinking about it and I started to put it together. And as I started to write it, he's like, "Well, look, we're going to make a little trailer for it. We're going to do this and we're going to do that." And I started thinking, well, then we're going to do all this stuff. And I got the story together and I started looking at it and I'm like, this story is pretty good. And from there, it just took off. Man, New Orleans writes itself, man. I mean, it's amazing that it hasn't been written. The characters themselves, the stories themselves. I mean, New Orleans has been a peripheral character, but to actually have actual legends, New Orleans legends, actually they write themselves. The story writes itself. And so, like I said, thus the God's Hand story is born.
Fantastic. So let's head over to your campaign, man. And so we got God's Hand, a New Orleans supernatural thriller. You've got 3 days left to go, and you're just over halfway to fund it. So you're looking for a goal of $10,000. You're currently at $6,543. You know, you got 3 days to go. So everyone, like, you know, it's you know, we're hitting this hard now. So get out there, grab this link, share it on your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, whatever you're doing. 3 days left to reach goal. This is an amazing book, great art. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to play the video for everybody. So let's all check out God's Hand.
At nightfall, a string of murders in New Orleans has been uncovered. These aren't your typical acts of violence. The victims bear an unknown supernatural mark. When the city's protector, Machi Laveau, is found murdered, a collective team of reformed sinners with supernatural powers, led by the immortal Jean Lafitte, are called in to solve the case. As they delve deeper into Marie's death, they begin to suspect the rise of the Black Queen, an entity that has been asleep for centuries. Now awakened, her evil threatens to free the ancient gods of chaos and cover the world in a cloak of darkness.
I smell human.
As her minions crawl out of the shadows and threaten to unleash horror upon the city, only Jean Lafitte and his team of hunters stand between the darkness and the total destruction of the city. All help now rests in a team simply known as God's Hand.
Hey guys, my name is Anthony Figaro, and I am the creator of the God's Hand story. This idea was created by a challenge. I was asked if I could create a story that was uniquely New Orleans, which would showcase the mystique and the flavor of the culture while using real New Orleans legends. Thus, the God's Hand story was born. To help me bring this story to you guys, I brought together the same talented team that successfully crowdfunded the Chronicles of Count Carlos back in 2017. Jesse Heggie, who did all the coloring on Count Carlos, is back, and he's going to use his amazing skills to bring the supernatural world of God's Hand to life. I also have Marcus DeGisu back. He did a great job on lettering Count Carlos and played a vital part as editor to give the book that polished feel. And of course, I've got Armando Leduc, one of the main writers from Count Carlos, on board to help me on the production end of this. Believe me, it takes a lot of work to bring you guys a superior product. Packing all this talent into every volume, we're going to bring the God's Hand world to life so you can feel every raw, untamed emotion, every twist, every turn on every page firsthand. We're asking you guys, the fans out there, to help us bring this project to life. With your donations, we will successfully fund this campaign and get all those great rewards out to everyone who helped us by backing this book. Speaking of rewards, we have a lot of great perks and exclusive items that you will only be able to get through this Indiegogo campaign. Just to give you a sample, we'll be offering metal bookmarks. We will also have metal prints. We have cool limited edition cardstock prints, as well as an exclusive Indiegogo cover that you will not be able to get anywhere else except on this campaign, so don't miss out. We also have a mystery artist that will do a special variant cover for us that will be released to everyone who backs the book once we hit our goal. I can't wait to tell you guys who it is. So you guys getting excited yet? because there's more. We also put together a special 48-hour early bird special for anyone who pledges within the first 2 days of the campaign. So you definitely want to get in on that. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you guys at the wrap party. Special thanks to Shane Bouvier, Christopher Leach, Brian Lotiges, and everyone here at Heroes Corner for all the work and all their support. You guys did a great job of helping me bring this to life.
Great video, Anthony.
That art, my goodness.
Yeah, bro.
It's something to sit through in silence. It's. I'm sorry.
You got to make. You should be doing TV, man.
Seriously.
You know. And now, in God's hand, another tale of the city. The city
There you go,
Now,
brother.
how did you come up with the title God's Hand?
What's that, brother?
What inspired you to create to actually come up with the title God's Hand?
I don't know.
Just came to you?
I don't know, man. It's one of those weird things. I don't know. You know, like you like to tell people. Like sometimes I create things and they come from, you know, there's a organic process to it, and it comes from this to this to this, and there's sometimes, man, where it just springs out of nowhere, and you're just like, I don't know. It's just you're like, that's it. You just know it's it, and that's it.
That's it.
And in this situation, that title, that's what it was. It was just God's Hand, and it's just that's it.
Awesome. So tell us a bit about the characters we've got here.
What's that?
I said, if you can, tell us a little bit about the characters. You highlight these 5 characters here.
Correct. So the team. Okay, so the story's about Jean Lafitte, and he's exiled from New Orleans. Has something to do with Katrina and whatnot. So he becomes a mercenary bounty hunter, and along the way he runs into these just these different. They're like misfits and whatnot. It's like the guy with the Saints hat. His nickname's Fishhook, and Jean Lafitte was down looking at an old Nazi sub, and he ran across this guy, and they put him together in a decompression chamber, and Jean Lafitte threatened that he would break the containment open, and he would contaminate everybody if they didn't let him watch the Saints in the Super Bowl, because he's been all these years, you know. So they brought him a TV up in front of the containment unit, and him and this character, which you call him Fishhook, they watched it. And so it's the first time he'd ever seen, you know, football and whatnot. And so a guy became a Saints fan. So that's why he wears the Saints gear all the time. Jade, which is all the way on the far right, she's half Chinese, half American, and she was raised in the mystic arts of Chinese magic. I wanted to bring in magic, but I wanted to bring a different type of magic. So she's skilled in Chinese magic, which I'm going to steal from anime. I'm going to steal directly from anime and manga because I like that. It's different. There's these spells, but there's they throw these papers and they got these different symbols on them. So I like that, and it's not really being done right now in traditional comic book stuff. And then let's see, and of course Jean Lafitte. Jean Lafitte is immortal. He drank something back in the day called the Waters of Life, which made him immortal. The whole premise of the book is and I steal this from Lovecraft, is I take Lovecraft's idea of the ancient gods of chaos, and basically have them give birth to every monster that exists or ever has existed. And from those monsters, they then rebel against the gods, and they banish them off into another dimension, because of course the gods of chaos are chaos, and they want power. So they then divvy up the planet, and which is why you have like African lore, Greek lore, Christian lore. Like you have different monsters from different areas. So they divvy up the whole planet, much like a mob family would, and they run it like that. And so then what they do is they cast this veil over everything. So there's this veil to where, let's say, for example, you're walking down the street and you see somebody get shot. Well, it's not really a gunshot victim. It's a werewolf attack. So from this, they have these teams which work in different areas, paranormal crime scene investigators, people like that. So out of New Orleans, you have Jean Lafitte, Marie Laveau. They pretty much watch over New Orleans. And so there's an incident that happens during Katrina, which Lafitte gets banished. And then the story picks up with them calling him, saying Marie Laveau's been murdered, her soul's been stolen. He has 48 hours to come to New Orleans and find out what happened. And so the story picks up right there.
Oh, very cool. Now let me ask you:
Nice.
Are you a believer in the supernatural?
Absolutely.
Oh, here we go, Nile.
Born and raised in it. Born and raised in it.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's man. That's Nile's thing now.
Oh yeah, supernatural baby.
Raven,
What's going on?
What about you, Raven? I know
I'm open to it. I'm not gonna ever disprove anything. I would love to see it in real life. So if someone could bring me Bigfoot one day, please.
Oh dang, Nile.
Now you're into the supernatural.
Big time, yeah.
Do you know what
Did
about
you see my
people who are
Halloween special?
No, I missed it. Do you
What?
know about people who are born with veils on their face?
Yeah.
No.
You know about that?
No, explain that to us, since that's also part of the book. So.
Okay, so this is actually part of my life. So my grandmother was born with what they call a veil. It's a second layer of skin, but it's real fine. And they peel it off. It looks like if you ever see it, it looks like a cobweb almost. It's real, And
that's true. Like babies are born with that, and they.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. And the lore is that people who are born with that have second sight and they can see beyond the veil. And our sailors used to pay a lot of money for this stuff back in the day because of superstition and whatnot. But my grandmother was born with that, and my grandmother she actually used to have visions and stuff. Like one time, one of my favorite ones is she called my daddy up. She said, "Oh, JC," she said, "I just had a dream, and you was walking in, and they was closing a big metal door behind you. My daddy's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, 2 weeks later, he wound up going to jail for a little while. And he said, "Mama," he said, "don't you ever dream about me ever again." So it's definitely, it's definitely been a part of my upbringing since, and in New Orleans, it's like, man, I don't know how you can't believe in it being in New Orleans.
Have you seen anything though? Have you personally experienced anything?
Only my own spiritual experiences. Yeah, I do. For me, there's something beyond the brick, mortar, and steel. There's no doubt about it. I live by it. So, you know what I mean?
Nice.
As far as monsters and stuff like that, I don't know. I think there's enough monsters in human beings and to have to make up monsters, man.
Yeah,
Bro,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I think God's Hand is an awesome title, but like that Beyond the Veil, and to focus on that with that second skin, I mean that's amazing.
That's your next book right there, dude.
That's your next book
there
right
you go,
there.
Man.
You gotta spin it off onto that.
It's called Beyond the Veil.
Beyond the Veil, bro. Oh my God! For next Halloween, and it's about some young lady, like about your grandmother. It's all based on your grandmother. And you just tell the stories, about, what's your grandmother's name?
Francis.
So Francis. So it's about Francis X. Francis Xavier Figaro. And, I know your grandmother's middle name. But I'm just saying,
Francis Xavier Figaro.
Francis X ain't a bad name.
He's got the sight. He's got the sight.
Well, let's be honest. Look at your names. You got Nile Scala, which is an awesome name. Nile, named after the river. You got Anthony Figaro, or the Marriage of Figaro. You got Raven Monroe. She sounds like she's a super spy that kills people for money. and then you got friggin' Billy Tucci from Long Island.
You got the Tucci over there.
And because my name sucks, I know good titles.
It's
and I think
Tucci, man.
Tucci.
It's a good name.
Oh, you're a pretty little iron. Thank you for that. And I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. But I'm just saying, man. I'm telling you, I got chills thinking of that story of what you were just telling me about what your grandma, that whole thing with the second skin and babies, and you show the beginning of babies. They peel the skin off the little baby. You know what I mean? And what do they do with that skin? You said people buy money and they sell it to something. Look at me. I don't want to, someone's going to steal the story. So,
copyright it immediately.
Copyright, Anthony. It's all you. So.
It's all copyrighted right now, and it's recorded for all purposes. Just go to the YouTube channel. It's always here.
I'm just saying there could be something real special there.
I'm just saying. There you go. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome, Anthony. That. You're welcome. Billy just made you famous.
Thank you.
We'll do next.
Thank you, boys.
Awesome. So let me ask you now. So Raven, you've done Kickstarters, right?
Yes.
Anthony, have you ever done a Kickstarter?
I was a part of a Kickstarter in 2000, I want to say 16 to 17. That Count Carlos book you saw up there. We kickstarted that one.
Mm-hmm. Now, Raven, what is your take? Now you're on both. You're done Kickstarter, and now you're doing Indiegogo. So, I mean, what's your take on the two platforms now?
I loved Kickstarter because I could message backers directly, and that set it up to where like I could set them up for like custom illustrations and things like that. So I had the opportunity to like directly contact them and thank them for backing and all of that jazz. But on Indiegogo, I'm finding a much harder time on that. But Indiegogo, on the other hand, offers you the opportunity to go in demand. They offer you the ability to extend your date a little bit if you need to. Like they provide more options than Kickstarter does as far as like your time and your fulfillment goes. Whereas Kickstarter, it's all or nothing no matter what. With Indiegogo, you have all or nothing or flexible. And it's both of them have their pros and cons. But I from what I've heard, Indiegogo is just more comic friendly. So I'm excited to see how things turn out with that.
Awesome. Now, do you think you'll be doing both though in the future? Will you still continue to use both platforms?
I don't think I'll do both platforms in the future. I'm going to see how Indiegogo performs, and I'll take the better of the two. Reason I did it this time was because on Kickstarter, I did the whole Kickstarter successfully funded. I'm very thankful for that. But I had quite a few people reach out to me and they said, hey, I'd love to support it, but I don't want to do it through Kickstarter. I'd prefer Indiegogo. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want anyone to feel left out, no fan left behind. So let's make some exclusives on Indiegogo and people can have at it.
Now, Anthony, would you consider doing Kickstarter with your stuff, like doing an Indiegogo and then jumping to see what you can do with Kickstarter, or are you going to stay on Indiegogo?
I'm probably going to do that. Billy's inspired me. I'm going to do that. I'm going to, and I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to. I'll probably start it right on the heels of the Indiegogo, and just run a Kickstarter off of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see why not, because what Raven said is good points for when you're talking about user friendly. The only thing that I found, and this will change over the next 3 to 4 years, it's just brand recognition. You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, I have to explain to them, I'm like, and I'm just talking just normies, they'll know Kickstarter. And so I just tell them, look, well, if Kickstarter's Coke, Indiegogo's Pepsi, right? And so it just breaks. But I think right now that's what Indiegogo has more than anything else. It's just brand recognition. But again, I love free markets. With Indiegogo coming in now and saying, okay, well, we're competition, they're going to have to either cater more to the creators and make it more user friendly, right? Or Indiegogo is just going to take the shares. That's just the way it is. But I think what Billy's doing is, if you have people who are entrenched in these two camps, for whatever reasons they have, that's fine. If we can do a campaign over here and a campaign over here, possibly offer Kickstarter exclusives over here, offer Indiegogo exclusives over here, if the market allows for it and there's money there, by all means, I say go for it.
Absolutely.
Seems like a lot of headaches, but
it is. It's a lot of work, but it's like everything else. But and it is a lot of work. I don't recommend what we did, which was kind of do the two campaigns together simultaneously. Even though we launched Kickstarter first, technically, and plus my wife, it literally put her in bed. She's exhausted. It just ran her down. I guess
she's
it's a holiday.
Freaking saint.
Yeah, she is.
Saint that woman is.
But I'm like, oh, let's do this. Let's give it a shot. Why not? and now she's like, never again. Pick one, do one first, finish it, and then go on to the next one, which is cool, But I don't recommend doing it like we did it. But again, you want to reach the widest audience possible. You got to think of you publishing a book. How I'm starting to think of it is like it's a military campaign.
It is.
That's what it is, or a political campaign, or a war campaign. And you don't quit until the war is done. You don't stop.
That's right.
So if there's more battles to be fought, you don't want to leave a half-finished war. Like World War I. If they finished World War I right, and and did it right, they wouldn't have been in World War II, you know, that sort of thing. And that's how you have to think. You got to think of it like, I want this campaign done, and then when it's done, those books are only available. My personal strategy, and I think the fans who do support you on the Indiegogo and the Kickstarter campaign, is that these books are exclusively for you. You can do it another issue, or you could break down if it's a 48-pager to 2 24-pagers with different covers, but offer your backers this book only with this particular cover or this amount of pages directly for your campaign. And when it's done, it's done. And then when you go through Diamond, do another. Or you could do like what Ethan's doing. You do a whole nother variant cover, because again, when a campaign ends, and Raven, you were talking about this at someone said, well, I don't like to shop on Kickstarter. But there's also people that might discover your book through word of mouth, and then they can't get it because your campaign's over. So there's nothing wrong with opening another week-long campaign, say on Indiegogo, for a variant cover, right before you go to press or something. Why not? I mean, that's what Marvel does. That's what DC does. That's what every sort of business does. Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
So, that's me on my soapbox. I've been ranting all day today. I ranted all about DC. Warner Brothers with Superman.
Hey, it was a good rant. It made sense.
It was.
It pissed me off, man. I was just like, are you kidding me? So that's that. Make Superman relevant.
Man. Make him relevant. No one wants Superman anymore.
Oh,
who is he, Billy? Who is he? And what's this Fleischer bullshit, huh?
Yeah, right?
What the hell is up with that?
My wife's like, you rant a little too much.
Oh, you're just passionate.
Yeah, that's why I got into it.
There you go, Annie.
Yeah, because I got into it for the money, right?
Isn't that why we're all doing it? No.
Oh, yeah. Comics, as my friend Gary Cohn once said, comics is an industry where you could literally make hundreds of dollars.
Nice.
And so, guys, we got a couple crowdfunding callouts tonight. So if any of you aren't familiar with the show, we like to highlight a couple campaigns that are going on towards the end of the show, because we'd love to have everybody on, but we just can't do it. So, a lot of creators reach out to us. Hey, can you give us a spotlight? Can you do that? So tonight, Frank Amazing was able to check out this project that was sent to us. It's an Indiegogo campaign, and this one here is called Doom Fate. They currently have 6 days left. They are funded. They had a goal of 1,500. They're now at 4,365. They have 98 backers, 291% funded. Definitely a cool book. You guys should. The art is cool. I like the art. To me, it almost has like an Adult Swim cartoon type feel to it. Just something pretty cool, edgy. So if you get a chance, head over to Indiegogo and check out Doom Fate. If it's something you like, back it, support these creators. If the funds aren't there this month, there's that one rule. That one thing we love to encourage is just sharing. Share the campaigns, and do the same for our guests tonight. If you can't fund it, share.
Pledge for our guests.
And pledge. If you can pledge it.
For our guests.
And then we have another crowdfunding call out. I'm kind of skeptical on this one, but I guess we'll put it up. It's from this new creator. He's a new guy on the block. I don't know if he's gonna make it. I don't know about this guy. I guess he's all right. But no, everyone, we got She Return of the Warrior with 3 days left on Indiegogo, and we've got 3 days left on Kickstarter. And I have to say, look at that. I got some alerts here. Oh, gotta do my surveys, people. See that? We don't just highlight, we support crowdfunding campaigns.
Hey.
So, anywho, I gotta get to those. So, we've got 55,546, 763 backers with 3 days to go on Kickstarter. What the hell's going on? Indiegogo, people. Indiegogo, let's go. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
What is going on, Indiegogo?
What is up with that?
Letting Kickstarter take the lead.
Yeah,
but anyways, all backers are, man, they are just fantastic, Billy.
Now I'm curious. I want to see what my numbers are at.
they have just thrown support with what you're doing. And everyone out there, please take the time to check out Billy's campaign as well. The 3 days left. If you've pledged, thank you so much. It's much appreciated. And it's an awesome book, great art. Definitely something I'm personally looking forward to. And there's 3 days left. So help share, spread the word, back the book, and continue to support Billy. Continue to support Doom Fate. Let's continue to support God's Hand. It's another campaign with 3 days, and we need to make this one happen.
We need to make it happen.
Most of all, the wonderful Raven Monroe, Machi the Lazy Witch, issue 1 and 2, 15 days left. She's more than halfway there. Let's make it happen. Let's get her on that Indiegogo bandwagon, right?
Yes.
That's the platform, people.
That's
what everyone's pushing to be on. So let's make it worth it for these creators. We've got 3 creators here on the set tonight, and we've got one that we've crowdfunded and called out, all Indiegogo creators. So let's continue to show that support.
Thank you, guys.
And if you don't, you're doo-doo faces. That's all.
And everybody, please share Raven's and Anthony's campaigns. All right, if you can support it, if you can pledge, please do. But more importantly, if you can share it, do that. But we're not trying to raise awareness for these new books. We're trying to raise cash. Right?
There you
MCM.
go.
So let's make these books a reality. All right, these guys they're 2 amazing creators. So let's do it. All right, please pledge, please share. They don't need a lot. They're so close, or they are close. Let's get this done, and let's have everybody a very happy Christmas.
Yes.
Happy Christmas.
Thank you.
And Happy New Year.
Happy
So again,
Christmas.
Raven, Anthony, thank you so much for coming on the show. Once you're on the show, you're part of the Crowdfunding Comics family. Please keep us in the loop with what you're doing. If you got anything you want to run by us, please email it over. If you have any reason to come back on the show, please reach out. We'll get you back on to talk about whatever you have happening. And also, if you know any other creators that need to come on and spotlight what they're doing, and you want to do that, that'd be great as well. And we're always open to having some extra guest hosts as well. So, thank you guys so much for being on the show. Billy, my friend, it's another great night. Another great episode, and for the records.
Yep, and we're being smart. We're being economical. We're not keeping our guests all night and having them start on us.
I want to thank you, Nile and Billy. I'm sure Raven will say the same thing. It means a lot to have you guys help us, help us up and showcase what we're doing out here. It really is, man. You guys really have you were really cool when I came on and I dropped my thing and you showed it, and you guys have had me on and been very, very supportive, and it means a lot to people like to me and Raven. I know Raven will tell you herself, but it means a lot to us to have us to on here and to showcase us like this.
Well, man,
we really appreciate it.
We're all allies here, and we're all compadres.
Paisans.
Just support creators, supporting creators. That's all it's about. Because if we don't, who's gonna?
That's right. And as independent creators, you're right. United we stand. That's it. Divided, it's not going to help anybody. Let's keep pushing each other. Let's push. All of us are like a confederacy that can rival Marvel and DC or both.
There you go, man.
I agree.
So let's rock and roll with. Heck yeah!
It's a civil war.
The renegades, baby.
I'll destroy that, Billy.
I'll do a creative civil war and take these guys. Heck yeah!
I will.
Look at Billy's about to get me all fired up over here.
Next video you're gonna see is I'm gonna be driving Billy's truck with him standing on the hood, like, let's do this, and we're gonna be whipping down the road with the crowdfunding comics flag.
Yes.
Yes, the crowdfunding
watch
comics
Billy's
flag.
Billy's over there. Billy's a hunter, aren't you, Billy? Billy, don't you hunt?
Yeah, I hunt, man. I hunted this weekend a lot. I did good. I got a deer this weekend.
Little lady.
What was that?
My puppy's excited. Sorry.
I thought that was like a squeaky toy.
It was.
Oh, it was a squeaky toy.
Squeaks.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have 2 Shibas.
Oh, well, where are they?
Shiba Inus, right?
Shiba Inus. Yep. Yes, sir.
They love to run, don't they?
They are little divas, and they're a hoot, I tell you. But they're real great buddies whenever you're working on stuff. So
I bet you they're a little spoiled too, aren't they?
Oh, I tell you, one of them certainly is. He's having a fit right now.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get something to eat myself, And this was great having you guys on. Everybody out there, thank you. We hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. And please pledge for these campaigns. Please share it if you can't pledge. And let's make them happen for Anthony and Raven.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Yep. And
Thank you guys so much.
Tomorrow night we have Adam Post on the show. He'll be talking about his College of the Dead episode. Oh my jeez. Issue number 2 is in the works, and he's also having issue 1 all remastered and colored. So we will have him on tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
And I won't be here.
No, you'll be seeing Cher. If I could turn back time.
I'm gonna go see. I'm taking my wife to see Cher tomorrow. That she was watching. I was watching YouTube. And, I'll be doing the Jack, you know. And
I don't know any other Cher songs.
She was watching Cyndi Lauper and Cher sing, and she started crying. She's like, I don't know why this is making me cry. I love Cher, and I've never seen her. Now, personally, I've seen Cher 4 times. Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anybody.
I don't think you should ever tell anybody.
Did I say that? Did I? What? I didn't say that.
Before he goes to bed tonight, he's going to go into his closet and just put his wig on and look at himself in the mirror for like 2 seconds. Till we reunite again, Cher.
Should I go to my mother-in-law's and like borrow some? I just need some clothes. And just like, okay, I'm all ready to Cher, honey. And my mother-in-law's.
Is your mother-in-law like a Cher impersonator?
No, and she's small
like
too.
Like a dominatrix closet? What can of worms you've opened?
No, but Cher's her favorite. She's always wanted to see Cher, so I'm taking her to see Cher.
Awesome. What a good husband you are. And that's because she's been running herself ragged running your campaigns.
Yeah, well, that's
bless her heart.
Thing. You know, so she's sick. She's really sick. She's on the couch now with blankets and everything, and I'm like, well, you know, she's like, well, I'm like, you sure? You know, because if you're sick, I don't think you want to go into the city, you know, with all those people getting sick. It's like, oh no, we're going. So I guess you don't want to go. I'm like, of course I want to go, honey. Of course I want to see Cher. Why wouldn't I? It's gonna be awesome.
It'll be a blast. It'll be a blast. You'll have fun. You'll have fun, buddy.
I gotta tell you though, I was like that with Prince, and I know this is before you were born, Raven, but it was in 1984. I went to go see the 85. It was 85, the Purple Rain tour.
I was one.
And we went kind of making fun of Prince and everything. And after 10 minutes of that concert, I'm like, this is the greatest musician I've ever seen in my life. He totally won me over. He was unbelievable. So
Billy
maybe I'll
Tucci had a Charlie Murphy moment.
Yeah, he did. Charlie Murphy.
He was like, "Yo, bro, boy can ball, man. Who could sing, bro?"
Oh yeah, Prince can ball, man. But Prince could play.
I
was
eat
like,
some pancakes.
Yeah.
You guys want some pancakes?
So we'll see what I'm wearing Thursday for our show because I might be. I don't know. I might be a cross-dresser by then or something. Who knows?
Hey. Be sure to subscribe to that.
I have a Cher wig on and everything. Oh.
All right, guys. Now I'm going to have nightmares. Thank you. Oh, no, we got my Tucci Cher. Oh, my God. What was that?
I love a Cher wig.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful night. We've already freaked Raven out enough. And
Thank you.
Anthony, thank you so much again. And guys, if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel, share the channel. Let's continue growing crowdfunding comics and still, being the best platform we can be. So everyone, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night again with our host Adam Post talking College of the Dead. Everyone, have a great night.
Maybe we can end it with "Babe, do, 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 do. I got you, babe.
I got you to hold my hand.
I got you to understand."
All right, Raven, your turn. I got you.
Hey, it could be Celine Dion, right?
Yeah, there you go. All right, everyone, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
You guys are awesome. Please support these books.
Yes, support these books. Now.
Good night, guys.
Doo-doo faces.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into Crowdfunding Comics. We look forward to hanging out with all of our crowdfunding fans every time we go live. And don't forget to click the link below and subscribe to our channel. And there's a little bell. You may want to hit that too. This way you get all the great notifications when we go live and when we upload some awesome content. You want to follow us? Sure, go right ahead at Twitter at CrowdFundComics with an X, Instagram Crowdfunding Comics, and Facebook at Crowdfunding Comics. Till next time, crowdfunding fans, we'll see you soon.